No risk, pretty high reward. InnovationRefunds.com.
It's the word mattress stores can't stop shouting every Labor Day holiday. Sale! Sale! Right, Dad. The worth it is getting the lowest price on the wrong mattress. So this Labor Day, come to Sit Sleep, where our exclusive VortecMAX technology scientifically matches you for just the right mattress. Save 50% on select mattresses. And with your good credit, pay 0% financing for 36 months. So this Labor Day, don't settle for a low price on the wrong mattress. Trust your sleep to Sit and Sleep.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me, the love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my life, for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran from you, now I'll run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly all. Tainted love, tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away.
To talk to Connie Willis, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Connie from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Connie Willis.
It's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here with you. Lots of great calls. Thank you all so much for sticking around and doing that. Hey, we have open lines happening right now. And a reminder that tomorrow, 9/11, it's 9/11 now, we're going to be having a great guest on for tomorrow night to really commemorate and to talk about the events that he was a part of, Stanley Swan, the 12 days being on the research and recovery team, going through all the stuff that dropped down from the Twin Towers. So that'll be tomorrow night. So look at, you ever get a chance to go to our website, you'll get to see all the different guests and things like that. So I want to remind you that's where you want to go to see what's upcoming. And that's definitely one of the people for tomorrow night. So I'm looking at, since it is 9/11, as we continue on with open lines, that maybe you have a story to tell that you remember that was pretty significant that you'd like to share. Open lines continue here on Coast to Coast AM.
Hey, it's George Norrie, and chances are you're probably in your car right now, which means at some point you're going to have to fill up that gas tank, so why not get cash back when you do? The free Get Upside app does just that. It gives you cash back on every gallon you buy, and right now, if you use promo code GEORGE, you'll receive an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up, and that can be $5 or more back in your wallet. The Get Upside app is easy to use. Just claim the cashback offer at the gas station you want, pay with your card, check in, and boom, you're earning extra cash back for buying gas. So do yourself a favor. Download the Get Upside app now and use my promo code GEORGE to earn an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. Start earning cash back every time you fill up with Get Upside. And remember, promo code GEORGE. That's Get Upside, promo code GEORGE. Get Upside, promo code GEORGE.
This year, to mark 20 years since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is giving 200 mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families with young children and catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. In a moving tribute to the fallen, the Foundation's chairman and CEO, Frank Stiller, walks for the month of August through to September 11th, from the Pentagon to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and on to Ground Zero. The Foundation is bringing back Towers of Light to memorials at the Pentagon and in Shanksville, reading the names aloud of all we lost to 9/11 related illness on September 12th, and reading aloud the names of service members we lost in the War on Terror on Veterans Day. Help this nation to never forget its greatest heroes. Do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Coast to Coast AM, Connie Willis here. Catch me at ConnieWillis.com. Free Bigfoot documentary. Yeah, I made that myself. It was interesting. I mean, it's homemade by me, but I like it. I think you will too. Head ConnieWillis.com. That's where you can find me outside of here. So open lines. It's 9/11. I'm absolutely sure this is one of those times where, people remember where they were. So if you've got a significant story to tell us and share with us, that would be fantastic for open lines tonight. I'll get to mine at one point. Let's go ahead and hit the phones. We've had some people that have been waiting to tell their story. So let's go to the wild card line 5, Carl, out of Boston. Carl, thanks for hanging in there for so long. I appreciate that. How are you?
Thanks. Hey, I'm doing all right. I'm excited to share my story, but I know maybe you don't want to hear it, but it is open lines, and I had kind of a thesis that I've been thinking about, and I just wanted to share it. But anyway, I'll just go with my story. Okay, so on September 11th, 2001, it was like 9 or 8 a.m. in Arizona. I was in school, and teacher comes in frantic and turns on the radio. I was in senior class, and we hear the story of the commentators and all the chaos, and we were all like, oh my, what's going on in America? And I stood up and I dropped out of school, and I said I was going to go into the military. It took me a little bit, and I had to get my GED, but I ended up doing it and serving, and it was the proudest moment, and it's the reason I'm in school now and achieving a career to rejoin society as a better soldier.
No, it's a great story. Thank you for telling that one. No, I wouldn't hate to hear that. And thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you. Nice call. Thank you for, thank you. Thanks for hanging out for us to save that story. when he had said, you're not going to like this or you're going to hate this. No, that was great. I was like, oh no, what's coming? And I never heard anything negative there. So I know I was, I believe at the time, the actual city, because I was moving at that point, and so I know I was in Florida, and I remember sitting there watching it on the TV, so I knew it was Orlando. I was going back and forth from Orlando to Sarasota at that time, and in business, I was working with Oxygen Network, Oxygen Sports. So you guys probably know Oxygen Network. At this time, when 9/11 happened, we were working on something called Oxygen Sports, and that I was one of the anchors for that, and it was really like this fantastic, this peak moment, this peak job, this incredible gig, and the lady that was over it, I remember her first name is Lydia. She was one of the speed skaters from the Olympics, and this was back in the time where when I had met her, I'm sitting on the other side, we're talking about getting the gig and doing it, and she's telling me she liked my tape and all this, and this was huge, right? Oprah was putting money into it, and I think it was the Murphy Brown lady. I can't think of her name right now. I think it was her. A whole bunch of big names were pulling out all this money from their pockets and throwing it in. It was going to be this great, female sports across the world, oxygen sports. So it was really exciting. This was when, because she was a speed skater in the Olympics, it was okay for me to ask her if I could feel her thighs, because they were like, you guys, if you've ever seen that, you just those thighs are amazing from the speed skaters. And so I was flying back and forth from Orlando to New York, back and forth to shoot it, because it was right there at Chelsea Market. That's where the studios were. And so I'd fly to New York. They'd pick me up in the car. It was like the best. It was the best gig ever. And then I'd go to the studios, shoot some shows, and leave. And in the time that they hired me and the time that we would shoot shows and bounce back and forth, well, I remember at one point, and it was the last time I went, that I was in the taxi. No Ubers back then. I was in the taxi. And normally, I am usually very talkative with the cab driver. And this time, I had something on my mind, and and this cab driver was constantly talking to me. And I was just really trying to, I had to study something. There was just something else that was going on in my mind. And so I barely listened to what he said, but I heard enough to say this. He said, "You see that plane?" He got frustrated with me at one point. Now, this was before it happened. And he got frustrated with me because I wasn't listening to him. And I felt bad because it's like, no, normally I do, but I'm just, I only have so much time. I gotta deal with this. And he turned around at me, and he finally said, "You Americans don't listen. You're not listening." And we're at the airport, and he points to a plane coming in, and he said, "You see that? That can be a missile. That can be a missile." That's what he said. Now, if you heard that before 9/11, you wouldn't think anything. I know I didn't. I listened, and I said, "Thanks." And he said, you'll see. And then it happened weeks later. And I remember waking up maybe several days later in the middle of the night, and I went, oh, that guy was telling me what was going to happen, because we were all in shock, right, for a while. And that's when the FBI was also having these commercials on, right? If you know anything, send the information here. So I actually found the receipt so they could talk to the guy who obviously knew something. And so I sent it to him, and that was it. Never heard a word. I wish I would have copied the information as well. I just sent it because I just wanted to get the info. So that's one of the stories I had about that, is somebody actually telling me that this was going to happen, but not knowing what they meant, because that's all they told me. So, interesting. That's just one of my stories. So what stories do you have? Open lines continuing. Let's go to John on wildcard line number 2 out of Milwaukee. Hi there, John. How are you?
Hi, Connie. How are you doing tonight?
I'm all right. Welcome to the show.
Oh, yes. I spoke with George. I go all the way back to about 23 years. I've been photographed with Smith. 911. Oh, my gosh. At the time, the day of, moments before, there were 3 of us. We were all for military. Marine for me, Navy for our fireman Phil, dive rescue team member, and Ricky, who is former Army, now a sheriff in Milwaukee County. And the 3 of us were in a truck. We had about $500,000 in our armored car, They were law enforcement pistol and handgun and shotgun tactical instructors. And the three of us were sent out with $500,000 at 5 a.m. And we arrived at a stop in Hartford, Wisconsin, about 40 miles out of Milwaukee. And two of us went in the building. We left Fireman's Bill, the former Navy dive rescue team and firemen in the truck. And Ricky and I, the Army and myself, Marine, went in and we put $250,000 in several ATMs at a business, Quad Graphics, a printing company. They had many ATMs and we were servicing the machines. And when we came out, half hour later, Fireman Phil was sitting at the steering wheel of the car with the radio blasting, saying, "You aren't going to believe this. They just flew a plane into the World Trade Center." And we looked at him and said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Listen to this." And right when he said that, the second plane had come in and hit the second tower sideways. And immediately our radio and phones went off in our armored car and said, "Hold steady, do not continue your route, your deliveries. We need to see what's going on here." Half hour later, they called us back. Well, the three of us that they're in, listening to the radio reports, just not believing this. We had no television, and we're in an armored car, armed, and with, $500,000 in our vehicle, and we're told to stand down and stay steady. And they called us back, and they said, "This is all happening. We have it on television, and we want you guys to be very careful and go out and finish your deliveries and pickups and get it all down to the clearing bank downtown." We did that by about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, at which point the three of us just drove back in dead silence and got in our cars, and I drove home. And the three of us, having seniority, took 2 days off. I stayed awake, and so did Fireman Bill and my friend the sheriff from the Army. So we got a Navy guy, a Marine, and a Army and Sheriff's Department and a firearms instructor and all that. And we took the next 2 days off, and I sat in front of my television, as did my two friends, and we sat, I think it was CNN that ran it nonstop, and we sat and watched everything unfold. And for the next several weeks, all the way to the road of death, in and out of Baghdad, and the Republican Army under Saddam, and all of that. And it deeply affected us. However, being that we had already served our time, I was 42, I believe. I was 42. Fireman Phil, he, from the Navy rescue dive team, he was 50. And my friend from the Army and the Sheriff's Department, he was 38. And we all wanted to be involved.
Not bad.
Wanted to volunteer and go back to it. However, there was a catch. There were so many young people signing up at 18 years old and diving headfirst into this to protect our country. And so we were not allowed to go be recommissioned and go back into action, and regret it to this day. But what a horrible, unbelievable thing to happen to our country. And we just went through a little bit more trouble here with our exit from Afghanistan. And as foreign military and law enforcement people, we still stay in touch. And I can't describe the disbelief from getting out of a car and delivering, $200,000 or more to these ATMs to serve this company while we did our job, and come out and hear this on the radio that this was going on. The three of us almost wept. It was,
I mean, you guys, you know, you're, in your mind, it's like, wait a minute, we do things in other countries so that that stuff doesn't happen here.
Correct.
It happens here.
and that was our understanding, that we had done our duty and we were doing our jobs, and I just cannot believe that 2 of the 3 of us left the vehicle to go deliver this money, in $200,000 bundles, by the way. And you're armed, of course, very well, and tactical situations. And we come out to the truck, and the fireman, Phil from the Navy, and the dive rescue team, and deep sea diver, he was practically a SEAL, is telling us, listen to this radio, and we were just in disbelief. It could not be happening.
You and everyone else, I mean, just to see that, not only to wake up to it, and, you know, I remember seeing the visual of it and waking up to it and going, oh my gosh, and then, as you're looking, you literally see the second one go into the second tower, and you're like, did I just see that? I mean, movies, you don't believe movies that make that, that have that much going on. And then, exactly, it just made no sense. And, you know, the media, I've been in media all my life, and it's, you know, when you're watching it too and narrating it, I remember thinking, when they kept saying a small plane, I just remembered looking at it going, a small plane could do that? Like, no way.
No, see, this was and the people in Shanksville, the guys who said, let's go, let's do it. That would have been the 3 of us guys in that armored car. If we had been on that airplane, we would have done exactly the same thing. We're going to take them out, and we're not letting them do this. This is not going to happen under our watch.
Yeah.
And it was sad that we could not get reinstated because of our age and our service times. So we went into action in other ways, doing firearms training and law enforcement and training. It was all over the country, in Virginia and many other places, doing handgun, shotgun, tactical, anti-terrorist training, and worked with some other people from SEAL Team 6. Dick Marcinko, he had SOS temps at the time.
Excellent.
And we were taking people who were former, military, and working them in to do some covert and black ops and things like that. And so there was ways that we got to be involved in it.
Excellent, and that was needed. That was needed too. So thank you very much for all that. Hey, John, it was a great call. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, and all the things that you've done for us. Wow, all that stuff, though they couldn't go and fight like they wanted to, they were able to take advantage of all their skills and take care of, teaching people what to do that could go and help out. Wow. Wow, everybody was affected that day. Absolutely everybody was affected that day. We're going to be tomorrow night on Coast. I'll be back here. Stanley Swan is going to join me for the first 2 hours, and he is a retired New York State undertaker. He was asked to join in the research and recovery from the debris of the Twin Towers, and he was there 12 days. He's going to be talking to us tomorrow night. So. All right, open lines continue. Where were you when it happened, 9/11? Connie Willis here on Coast to Coast AM.
Rushing on a stray cat, sitting on a fan. Ain't got enough dough to pay the rent. I'm slack broke, but I don't care. I should ride by with my tail in.
Contractor license 1047-781. Dad taught me to do things the right way, not the easy way. You got me, brothers and sisters.
8 sisters, 7 of which are older than me. Did they teach you anything? They taught me that people matter a lot. I'm talking to Ken Goodrich, owner of Gettle Air Conditioning and Plumbing. The day I started my business, my first job was for a 90-year-old man whose air conditioner broke down on the hottest day of the year. And he didn't have any money to pay me. That's awkward. He was really embarrassed. So when he asked if I could take an old cello as payment, I told him I always wanted to learn to play the cello. The what? The cello. It's like a giant violin. You talking about the thing standing in the corner of your office? Yeah, I didn't know you could play that. I can't. Then why'd you take it? I took it because he would probably have died if I hadn't fixed his air conditioner. I took it because people matter. I like working here, Kenny. I like working here too, Zach. Get 'em. Goettl. We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
Velio's pitch, she has like her private time during the day, and I ran into her, and she tried to hide down the wine aisle, and I tracked her down.
And my wife's like, why do you keep following her? I'm like, I'm going to go say hi to her. She goes, well, she clearly is trying to avoid you. She's running from you. I'm like, no, I got to go say hi to her. Hey, Velio!
Hey.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
That's right!
Weeknights at 6 on KFI.
Look, I'm not equating it to the mafia, but if you owe the mafia money, the one thing they want you to do is stay in touch with them. And it's the same thing with jury duty. As long as you're in touch with them and you need a little break here and there and you call in and you register and all that stuff, they're cool with you. But the moment you try to avoid jury duty by not responding and all that stuff, that's when they get pissed.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show. Weeknights at 6 on KFI.
You voted for all this, and now what? You're going to move to a state where there's far less of these progressive whack jobs and say, wow, life is better here. None of this bad stuff happens by accident. It happens because of choices we make.
John and Ken.
It's our fault.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on KFI.
Free-range, non-genetically modified, handcrafted, artisanal, gluten-free, stimulating talk.
KFI.
And KOSC HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
An egg and 2 hits to the head. I'm Brian Bruin from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The LAPD says it's looking for a man and woman involved in an assault and battery against Larry Elder and a campaign staffer in Venice.
Investigators say they have very little information on the two people. On Wednesday around noon, Elder and an aide were walking in the area of 3rd Street and Rose when the aide noticed a woman on a bicycle come up from behind and throw an egg towards Elder. The egg barely missed Elder, and when the aide approached the woman, she smacked him on the left side of his face open-handed. As the staffer and Elder walked to an SUV, a man then came up and hit the aide in the back of the head. Cops say the woman's white and was wearing a gorilla mask. The man is white, bald, and wearing a gray T-shirt. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Investigators in Anaheim say a teenager lied about how another teen wound up shot in the head. Sergeant Shane Carringer says the teen called police Sunday to report his friend had been shot during a drive-by shooting.
They determined that no drive-by shooting had occurred. They actually determined that a friend of the victims, Mr. Zachary Pickrell, an 18-year-old resident of Anaheim, was responsible for shooting the 17-year-old boy in the head.
Carringer says the teen was on life support until he died Thursday. The accused shooter is expected to make his first appearance in court on a murder charge in 2 weeks. Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer is out for the season. Major League Baseball and the Players Association have extended his administrative leave through the end of the World Series over allegations of sexual assault. The CDC says since Delta became the main variant of COVID-19 in the U.S., people unvaccinated against COVID were 11 times more likely to die of the virus than vaccinated people. They were more than 10 times more likely to have to be admitted to a hospital because of COVID.
The most important thing we can do to protect against any variant, be it Delta, Mu, or C1.2, is to get vaccinated.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says that has always been the predominant message. A group in Virginia is asking Congress to issue another round of $1,400 stimulus checks just for older Americans. The Senior Citizens League says older people need the extra money to offset potential increases in Medicare and other expenses. The group is asking for the stimulus checks to go to everyone who receives Social Security benefits. SoCal weather from KFI, clouds and fog and then sunny by the afternoon. Highs in the mid-70s to low 80s at the beaches, low to upper 90s in Metro LA and OC, mid-90s to mid-100s in the inland valleys. There's a heat advisory in effect in the Inland Empire until Sunday night, highs in the upper 90s to low 100s. Right now it's 72 degrees in Sherman Oaks, 66 in Culver City, 70 in Brea, and 70 in Irvine. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Bruman.
In Mid-City LA, some improvement on the eastbound side of the 10 just past Robertson. This crash had all lanes shut down. They've reopened the left lane. Everything else still shut down. You're still slow from National. Santa Monica on the westbound side of the 10, 4th Street to the McClure Tunnel. Caltrans has all lanes shut down until around 6 o'clock this morning. And all lanes closed in Fillmore. Westbound side of the 210, Rockford to the 5. This is until Monday morning around 5. Chino, westbound side of the 60 before Central. Fatal crash investigation. That's only the carpool lane open back up there starting at Mountain. Kfi in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert Dubucky.
Most mortgage lenders charge a fee, sometimes up to 1.5 points for pulling cash out of your home's equity. Those points are on your whole loan balance, not just the cash you get. For example, if your loan amount is $400,000, that's a $6,000 fee. For a limited time, Owning will waive this fee so qualified borrowers can get a cash-out refi with absolutely no closing costs of any kind. Besides the usual no title, escrow, appraisal, etc., no fees for a cash out on a 30-year fixed mortgage. So if you're in process somewhere and paying fees, call 8332-OWNING or go to owning.com, where our rate and APR for a no cash out fee 30-year fixed mortgage is 2.625%. But hurry, the mortgage industry won't like this, so who knows when this special goes away. Call 8332-OWNING or go to owning.com.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Call 833-852-6464 for terms and conditions. Equal housing lender.
What's the deal? $1.99 breakfast croissants. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a sausage or bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant for just $1.99. Fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, grilled sausage, all on a hot and buttery flaky croissant. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
In 2007, Marine First Lieutenant Travis Manion was killed in Iraq after saving his wounded teammates. Travis's legacy lives on through the 5 words he spoke before leaving for his final deployment. If not me, then who? Words that today fuel the spirit of Travis Manion Foundation. Words that live in veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians who go out of their way to find a way, who help others with the help of others, who bounce back after each setback, who make good on good intentions. Through Travis Manion Foundation, if not me, then who, are words that can live in you too. Show the world what your character is made of, because character is invisible until it's not. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians at travismanion.org. That's travismanion.org.
Southern California Edison has helpful info for emergency preparedness. Since the kids are older, we need to update our family plan again.
You're right. And let's review it with them so they know what to do.
They should know our evacuation plan, meeting place.
What to do in a power outage and where the safety kit is.
Good thinking. We can write down important phone numbers and put them in the kit.
You think of everything.
No, I just went to sce.com/beprepared. A little preparation goes a long way.
It's the word mattress stores can't stop shouting every Labor Day holiday. Sale! Sale!
Right, Dad, but what good is getting the lowest price on the wrong mattress?
So this Labor Day, come to Sit Sleep, where our exclusive BedMatch technology scientifically matches you for just the right mattress.
Save 50% on select mattresses, and with your good credit, pay 0% financing for 36 months.
So this Labor Day, don't settle for a low price on the wrong mattress.
Trust your sleep to Sit and Sleep.
9/11, 2 decades later, is a limited series podcast that looks back 20 years since the attacks of 9/11 and features those who were in the inner sanctum of our country's government.
I mean, it felt like the end of the world, to be honest with you.
And we ask the question, are we safer today than 20 years ago?
I don't think so. I wish I could answer it differently, but I don't think so.
9/11, 2 decades later, episodes 1 and 2 this Sunday night. Or download on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sponsored by Southern California Edison. Stay prepared. Stay safe.
KFI AM 640. Connie Willis, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Connie from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Connie Willis.
Rocking at it here. Connie Willis here on Coast to Coast AM. Open lines are happening, and we hope that you'll give us a call with your stories and what you remember from 9/11. A reminder to watch our TV show, George Norrie's TV show. It's on the internet. It's Beyond Belief with George Norrie. We've got a free episode if you go to the website, and you can check that out so you can, oh, that's what it's all about. Okay, I like this. And then you can sign up for 99 cents for the first month, and that's at beyondbelief.com. And for some reason you go, I'm going to remember that in the morning, and then you go in the morning, you wake up and you go, I forgot. Where did I go? Well, just go to our website, and you can find everything there at coasttocoastam.com.
You see it at the pump, the grocery store, and construction costs. Another month of the highest inflation since 2008. Another month where that paper money you're carrying around is worth less. So what's your plan to protect your savings? You have homeowners insurance in case of a fire. What insurance do you have in place if inflation sets in further and pushes prices even higher? Consider owning physical silver or gold from Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold will ship silver straight to your door so you can store it in your safe for a time of need, and it's easy. To learn how to get started, text COAST to 989898 to get a free info kit. Text today, and on qualified purchases, Birch Gold will even send you a safe to store your silver or gold in. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of happy customers. Birch Gold can help you safeguard your savings by holding silver rounds or bars on hand. Text COAST to 989898 again. Text COAST to 989898 to protect your savings today. Nielsen says more than 30 million Americans watch Newsmax. It's the fourth highest-rated cable news channel available on all the major cable systems, or find it on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and more. It's also free on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, TiVo, or download the Newsmax app right to your smartphone. Watch it anytime, anywhere. Forbes described Newsmax as a news powerhouse, and they're right. Billions of Americans are watching Newsmax. You should too. Tune in today. Newsmax, it's great television.
People who are vaccinated are getting sick from COVID variants, and Americans have no end of questions and concerns. What we do know is that fever is the leading sign of COVID, so everyone needs an accurate thermometer. Exogen temporal scanner's accuracy is backed by more than 100 clinical studies, while non-contact devices have no supporting studies. They miss fevers and give a dangerous and false sense of security. Remember, vaccines are not enough, and you need an accurate thermometer. Learn more at exogen.com.
We are back. It's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here. Open lines. 9/11. Where were you when it happened? What do you remember? What do you remember? How did you feel? What was that like? What do you think of it now? Amazing. Looking at the clock right now, where I'm at, September 11th to 11 a.m. Got those 11s going. A day you won't forget. Let's go to the lines and see what stories we got here. West of the Rockies, Randy, Sacramento, California. Hi, Randy. Thanks for hanging in there with us. How are you?
First of all, I have to tell you, I appreciate you so much. I really do. You and Ian and Richard and all the rest on the weekend crew, they're carrying on Art's legacy.
Well, we appreciate hearing that from you.
I was interviewed by Art like 18, 19 years
ago.
Oh,
yeah?
When I was working for the National Weather Service, when Senator Santorum was trying to dismantle that. And that was in the middle of the night. and then I slept 2 hours, drove over to San Francisco, met George at the San Francisco Paranormal Symposium.
Excellent.
Back to your topic.
No, that's fine. No, that's excellent. You know, it's funny because when you said the National Weather Service, I'm not sure why, but it just popped in my head. Oh my gosh, who's the shock jock? The big, terrible shock jock.
Oh yeah, you talked about the guy out of New York.
New York, right? Why can't I think of his name? I can't believe it. He's like,
I know.
But do you remember the movie when he was doing the